Little wonders never cease.
There's one of these. Okay, looks like this is extra.
Just make sure it's today.
Good morning. Woohoo! Well, happy Mother's Day. Welcome to worship here at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation at Shelter Rock. I'm David Carl Olson. I serve here with Reverend Israel Bufardi and our student minister, Madison Colquitt, all of us in the care of our lead minister, Reverend Dr. Natalie Fenimore, on sabbatical. Please come back soon. Our congregation shares leadership in many ways, and we're so pleased to hear the musical contributions today. Good morning. Whether you're a visitor, a newcomer, or a longtime member of this congregation, you are welcome here. All right? Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome. In this community, we use science, reason, and an open heart to explore life's many mysteries. So if you want to learn more about the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Shelter Rock or Unitarian Universalism, please stop at the welcome desk in the lobby or go online to UUCSR.org. We invite you into the fuller life of our congregation. Today there are 2 options for lunch. Our program council sponsors our Sunday cafe in the social hall immediately after the service. If you are a first or second-time visitor, lunch is on us. Also, the women's group Mother's Day brunch is fully subscribed. Sorry about that. We're happy about that, actually. We'll be in the Veach Ballroom at 12:30 to honor the nurturer in all of us. Our Respectful Relationships team has been, cooperating with other groups in the congregation, learning the tools for better communications and to help develop the closer relationships among the many communities within our congregation. We've worked with others in addressing bias. Yesterday, there was an upstanding training session. Next Saturday afternoon, we invite everyone to be with us for how to have difficult conversations. This is another workshop with Aisha Hauser, with whom we had such a wonderful time a couple months ago. We gather in the art gallery at 12:30 for coffee, and then two 90-minute sessions on Saturday afternoon that pick up some of the notions of empathy that we've been talking about and go to the difficult conversation about having difficult conversations. Please register so that we may order enough bagels. Okay. At Shelter Rock, we aspire to be a loving religious community where we can grow spiritually and build a more just and joyful world. You are welcome to join us on that journey. I'm going to share some words from my ministerial colleague, Deanie Oliva. Deanie and I were among the elect group who have served our congregation in Flint, Michigan. How's that? You can all go, ooh, ah. There we are. We light this chalice. Oh, shoot. It's not cooperating today, so maybe I'll light from here. Maybe do it this way. We light this chalice for mothers and mothering, to celebrate those who have taken on the task of nurturing a young one baby, a child, or youth into adulthood. We celebrate those who have nourished the light of truth and compassion in growing minds and hearts. To celebrate those who have committed time, money, energy for the nurturing and growth of others in this world. We light this chalice to celebrate and to hold dear this flame of love. I'm going to invite you to join me. We'll all, as we are able, rise in body and spirit to sing a Filipino hymn, Oh, the Beauty in a Life, Gray 182, and we will also see the lyrics on the screens.
Oh, the beauty in a life that illumines honor anew, that follows wise and gracious ways to every seeker, and every day to
Take a nice deep breath. Let it be in your whole body. Take a breath kind of toward the side for all those with whom we walk and work and move in the world. Take a deep breath from earth to sky. Let all the energy of the sunlight which is around us today fill your heart. And prepare you with friends to make a promise, to make a pledge with one another in our words of affirmation and our song of affirmation that shares who we will be with one another and in the world. Will you say with me, love is the doctrine of this congregation, the quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need. This do we affirm and covenant with each other. Take a smile and have a seat. Now I'm going to give you an instruction. I'm going to ask you to remember it for next time. These things, these promises and all that, they are serious, but they work best if you have a little elevation in your cheekbones. Look around, have some space. The promises we make are not like this, they're like this. This is called Unitarian Universalism, all right? There we go. If you saw my Facebook post this morning, you'd know that I consider myself the luckiest minister in captivity. To be able to share this space with Reverend Mary Katherine Morn, my dear colleague and the president and lead executive officer of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. You know that one of the primary ways that Unitarian Universalists around the world express our faith is through the work of that service committee. Reverend Ned White and I shared their story last month when we encouraged each of us personally to become members of the UUSC. And last week, we, in our congregational meeting, affirmed our support for the service committee as part of the resolution on funding Unitarian Universalism through the VEACH program. I hope that you are proud of that decision that we made together. Today, I simply get to have joy in being and serving with Mary Katherine. Reverend Mary Katherine Morn is president and lead executive officer of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. After decades of leadership in progressive faith communities and denominational service in the Unitarian Universalist Association, Mary Katherine now leads the 85-year-old human rights organization. UUSC is inspired by progressive values and committed to shifting power and resources to advance global human rights, where people have been criminalized for their identity and or activism, displaced by violence, economic inequity, and climate crisis, and otherwise impacted by intersecting oppressions. Shelter Rock, will you join me in welcoming Mary Katherine Morn? And now I think we have beautiful music.
My tree in paradise. The pilgrims call it the tree of life. All my trials, Lord, soon be over. Too late, my brothers, too late, but never mind. All my trials, Lord, soon be over. All my trials, Lord, soon be over.
I remember a rich conversation with congregants at one point that were wondering about leader-less movements and things like that. And I said, I don't want a leader-less movement. I want a leader-full movement. And when I think of the way the worship here is led, there are many leaders. We are a leader-full people. I want to thank you. We notice the world as it is when we gather. We strive to pay attention. We take a moment to imagine the world our faith calls us to co-create. We imagine how we might respond to this wonderful world. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. We take this opportunity to support the Family Service League, one of the foremost providers of mental health services on Long Island, treating all aspects of psychiatric illness and emotional distress for every age group and socioeconomic background. Won't you imagine with us true integrated health care for individuals impacted by mental illness and their families? We hope that this Mother's Day is a gift for you. We hope that you will take this moment as a time to respond to this gift with your act of generosity. The ways of giving are listed on the screens, and I think are in your order of service. I think there's also a QR code there. And for the traditionalists among us, and we are a few, there's an offering box in the main lobby where you can make your donations by cash or by check. We encourage that. And now, because we are a fun place where we allow our cheeks to go up and smiles to happen and to breathe deeply, will you rise with me in body and spirit, and we'll sing our little response. How's that? And if you remember, it's you see someone and you pull them in, you take from your heart and you give back, you shuffle it up a little bit, and then you give a little graceful bow. How's that? We'll sing a few times. And from you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you still in your face. Deep breath. Let your tuchus stick out a little bit and find a seat. How's that? A quartet of singers stood before Mother Jones, and she listened to their exuberance. Working men and working women, the end is now in sight. Take control of your own labor, that is labor's right. Beautiful. Beautiful, my children. That's how I love to hear my children sing. Excited by what she had just experienced, a little girl leaps up onto the speaker's platform. "Lisbeth, you get back here," her mother whispers, ashamed. "Let her stay. I have a special place in my heart for the children of this world," Mother Jones says. "Now, what is it you wanted to say to me? Lisbeth, is that your name?" Lisbeth raised her hand with a little gray and brown scarf. "This is a scarf I knitted for you, Mother Jones, for when you're out speaking to the men." Excuse me. My phone thinks I just fell down. It's about to call an ambulance. I am okay. It's a first. It's a first. What a world. What a world. Beautiful, beautiful. And you made this yourself. Oh, thank you. Good brings good. I'm going to give you something too. I'm going to tell you a story about a time when I led a whole lot of children just like you to see the president. We marched through the mill towns and mining towns that had crippled these children. And everywhere I went, I said, "Our children are being maimed and killed for American progress, and it ain't right." We marched right up to the company bosses with the fat of the land in their bank accounts. And one of those men looked at my hungry, hollow-eyed, listless little children and said, "Of such is the kingdom of heaven." And I said, if heaven is full of starving little angel children like these, I want to go to the other place with the bad little boys and girls. And nobody said nothing. And then I said, there's a lot of cups that are empty in these children's homes. Their fathers' cups are empty in their lunch pails. And I've got a question for you. Who needs to drink the cup? Well, Lisbeth was hungry, and she thought she knew the answer. But before she could speak, her uncle, James, who was very shy and never spoke up in front of anybody, stood. I promise you. Stood and said, "I remember that question, Mother. I joined that march in St. Mary's." Another person said, "So did I." Another stood and said, "We remember that question you've been asking, Mother, and we're still asking it." Another stood and said, "I was with you I was with you every step of the way. Another said, it was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life. And another said, my brother died that month, and so my mother said that I could go. We remember that question, Mother, who needs to drink the cup? And we've been asking that question, Mother, who needs to drink the cup? And we're going to keep on asking it until we get our answer. Who needs to drink the cup? And Mother Jones said, ask the question, my children. Ask the question. Elizabeth went back to be with her mom. She wishes she could stay with Mother Jones, but she needed her mama too. They walked hand in hand down the darkening lane. All the excitement of the day, all the questions that were asked, all the heart that was opened among her people, it all stayed in Lisbeth's heart. But then a song came to her lips. Who needs to drink the cup? Who needs to drink the cup? Those who live high at the top, or those who mind the dark way below. For need of it, 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 for need of it. Elizabeth held her mama's hand all the way home. In our custom, we take a moment each week to bring a candle into a box. We call together the dreams of this community, the hopes of this community, the capacity of this community. And maybe today you can come to the box. Maybe today you can bring your light. You might hold someone's hand. You might speak the name of someone who has nurtured you in your life. Please come forward.
Good morning, and happy Mother's Day. I want to thank David for telling that story. I heard him tell it in Ottawa 15 years ago. And when I learned that I would be here on Mother's Day, I said, how perfect to tell a story about Mother Jones, who made such a difference, saw the world as we know it can be, and worked with young and old, nurturing that vision into little pockets of being in our world. And I want to thank all of you for welcoming me. I've had some beautiful, warm hugs that I appreciate so much. Being back here at Shelter Rock is really a joy. I got to listen to the service David and Ned did. What a great job. Were most of you here? Okay, well, good news, it's online. I highly recommend it. I left a lot out of my sermon because they've already said it. And so I hope you'll go back and listen, both about the call for the work, Ned's beautiful expression of his own experience of not having his human rights honored, David's beautiful telling of the story of Wait Still and Martha Sharp. And it was a beautiful service, so I'm so grateful. And they invited everyone to be a member of UUSC. I hope everyone has signed up, but in case you didn't get to it, we have a sign-up sheet on the table. My colleague Kate is here with me, and she would love to meet you after the service and sign you up so that we can be in touch with you and keep you up to date on the work of UUSC. Thank you, congregation, for your support. I don't know how many years it's been, but it's been more than 15, more than 20 years that UUSC has been receiving a remarkable gift from the VEACH program at the UU congregation of Shelter Rock. And we are so grateful. It makes such a difference it makes so much possible in the work we do. And UUSC, like a lot of Unitarian Universalist organizations, is small and mighty. We know how to take a little and do a lot, and that's certainly true at UUSC. I want to also thank you for some support from the congregation. Over the past couple of years, we received a significant gift from this congregation for our work in Ukraine after the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, which now has been more than 2 years. Has it been 3? I think it's been 3. We continue in relationship with 8 grassroots partners in Poland and other areas and in Ukraine. Last March, we had the privilege to take our board to Warsaw and to Krakow to meet with some of these groups. Just briefly, 2 of the wonderful groups we met with. One is an organization called Regeneration that works with the communities who are directly working with people who are impacted by the violence, and providing support, mental health counseling, respite when it's needed, really powerful mission-based work that they're doing that makes the direct service and support and trauma support possible for these organizations. They invited 30 groups that they support to our meeting, and we got to hear about the work that they are doing, which we are supporting and you have supported through the Regeneration's kind of care for those organizations and the people doing that work. And then also an organization called Beyond Dialogue, which supports Roma people who they had existed and been supporting Roma people in Ukraine for a number of years, but when the refugees in Poland. They had been supporting Roma people in Poland, but when the Ukrainian refugees who were Roma crossed the border, there was no one there to support their needs. They were turned away. This is, I think many of you know how UUSC works in the midst of crisis, finding the places where needs are not met. And the Roma community is despised and discriminated against. And Beyond Dialogue actually built a center, a welcome center in Warsaw for Roma people escaping Ukraine. And we also got to visit with them. We got to travel to Auschwitz with them and visit the Roma Holocaust Memorial, which is part of Birkenau there. It was an incredibly moving experience, and I just wanted to share how your gift is continuing to make a difference in those partnerships in Poland and beyond. And then just maybe a month or two ago, we are so grateful for the $25,000 gift to support our work in Ukraine. UUSC is part of a mutual aid coalition providing support to the emergency response rooms. It's a way of getting support to the people who know the people who need the support. So really close to the people who are impacted by the crisis. The crisis is continuing to worsen, as we all know, and so your gift was timely, and we're grateful to be part of this coalition. Last September, we were actually recognized as part of this coalition at the Clinton Global Initiative for the support we'd already provided. And at the Clinton Global Initiative, there was a call made for other groups to support and join the coalition. We were 9 mighty organizations who came together, UUSC and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, together, making a difference. We don't mind being the smaller player on a stage like that, and we're so grateful for the way, when we come together, so much more is possible, and that's certainly true with this support for the emergency response rooms in Sudan. I'm especially grateful that I have this opportunity right now to offer my gratitude and my thanks to this congregation and to share what a difference it makes, especially right now, right? This is a moment when we have to be bolder than we ever imagined we would have to be. This is a vital moment to call each other to more courage and to more faithful action. Because our next crisis and humanitarian response is happening right here in the United States. At UUSC, an unexpected gift over these last 6 months has been a new way of understanding solidarity in hearing from our global partners in response to what's happening in the United States right now. On November 6th, we received an email from Juan Jose, who's the director of Pope No, UUSC's partner in Guatemala, who provides relocation and family support for children who are deported back to Honduras from the United States. They also create community support and mutual aid. And Juan Jose's been the director there for a long time. He's a wonderful UUSC partner. We were with him last year in Dallas. He sent us an email and he said, I see you, we see you. We know that your hearts are breaking and that it feels like our values are being turned upside down, but we want you to remember that the resistance of generations makes us stronger. UUSC partners around the world reaching out to us in solidarity and support. The resistance of centuries makes us stronger. Which reminds me of the poem I want to share this morning as a way of opening the real part of my sermon by Marge Percy. You may know the poem, The Low Road. We may hear bits of it after the sermon. Is that right? I appreciate that. Marge Percy reminds us in this poem how simple solidarity can be. She begins, though, with a frank reminder of all the ways tyrants will try to control us. What can they do to you, she writes? What can they do to you? Whatever they want. They can set you up, they can bust you, they can break your fingers, they can... I'm just not going to read this part of the poem. I don't think we need, in this moment, to hear again the many ways that tyrants can seek to control us and harm us, because our minds are full enough with real and anticipated oppression and violence and hate. And while the context of what is possible, what they can do to you, is critically important, the message of her poem is what you can do, what we can do. Piercy's poem reminds us that solidarity is the practice that makes possible beloved community, heaven on earth, human rights for all, the full flourishing and, frankly, the survival of this planet. So after setting the context, what they can and will and have done to you, she continues, and this part may sound familiar. Two people can keep each other sane, can give support, conviction, love, massage, hope, sex. Three people are a delegation, a committee, a wedge. With four, you can play bridge and start an organization. With six, you can rent a whole house, eat pie for dinner with no seconds, and hold a fundraising party. It only takes six. A dozen make a demonstration, 100 fill a hall, 1,000 have solidarity in their own newspaper, 10,000 power in your own paper, 100,000 your own media, 10 million your own country. It goes on, one at a time. It starts when you care to act. It starts when you do it again, when they said no. It starts when you say we and know who you mean, and each day you mean one more. That part about your own country feels a little seductive right now, doesn't it? But to be clear, this is about a great deal more than the United States. This is about a great deal more than politics. The biggest challenge we face is not one leader, not one party or one issue or position, no matter where we fall on the spectrum. The issue, the biggest challenge we face, is that the systems by which we recognize our shared life, politically and economically and socially, have been designed in no small part to keep us separated from each other, disengaged, disconnected, to ensure that we forget that we're kin, that we're family, that we all have worth, that we all belong, and that we only thrive when we thrive together. It starts when you say we, and each day you mean one more. Some of my earliest learnings about social justice, I don't think I've ever shared this before, actually came when I was doing work with the UU funding program. Do you know what the UU funding program is? Some of you may. The UU funding program is a significant re-granting program of this congregation. And from 1989 to 1995, I had the privilege of serving on a number of the panels that were established to review the grants. My favorite was when I was on the panel for a Just Society, Fund for a Just Society, which does, I think, very similar work to the VEACH program and the VEACH board in reviewing grants of organizations creating systemic change. And what I learned in that process as a very young and new minister was about the importance of how the justice work is done, that makes all the difference in the world. So some of the questions we would ask of the grants as we were reviewing them and reading them: what change is being sought? Will it create systems change? Will it address domination systems? Will it model solidarity and fierce justice, not charity and a false benevolence that does not meaningfully challenge the systems of domination that cause so much harm. All of this under the heading of, does it create systemic change? I'm so grateful to have had that learning as part of the UU funding program and as part of this congregation's ministry reach throughout our movement. And now, in my time with UUSC, the thing I'm learning about justice work has to do with power. At UUSC, our mission affirms the inherent worth and dignity of all people. You've heard that before. Are y'all awake?
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes, yes, yes.
So we affirm the inherent what?
Worth and dignity.
Of every person?
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. At UUSC, we also say, do you know when this happens? It's this allergies are terrible. The flowers are gorgeous. And Stephen, you are a gentleman. Thank you. At UUSC, we affirm not only the inherent worth and dignity of every person, but also the inherent power of every person. Yes. So in my time at UUSC, this has been such an important lesson for me, learning about the way power works. And Dr. King said this decades ago in his last address to the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. He had a word. He had a moment with the crowd there because he reminded them the way we think love and power are opposite things. And he said, we cannot think that way. Are we ready?
Take your time. We're doing fine.
Thank you, David. He's right. Who said that? Thank you. It wasn't David. I was confused. He said, take a deep breath. This is better even? Oh, thank you very much. Y'all are the best. So, Dr. King, he said, what is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive. We know that. Yeah. Power without love is reckless and abusive. But he went on. Love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against justice. Love and power. This is one of the great gifts I learn over and over again at UUSC from our grassroots partners. I have never seen this more perfectly lived as I saw it in UUSC partner Juan Lopez. A group from UUSC had the opportunity to spend almost a week with Juan in Havana in the spring of 2022. We had 10 of our grassroots partners from Central America there. Juan Lopez was the quiet one. He did not interrupt. He didn't speak often. And he was actually the last one of our partners to address us in that setting. He taught us about the real impacts of colonialism. He didn't dress it up. He told his powerful truth about theft and exploitation. In fact, he described how in Honduras, when a big corporation comes in, one of the things he was fighting was the illegal mining of the Guapanal Valley, where the water is being poisoned and the people are being forced from their homes because of this. And the mining companies, when they do follow the legal procedure, actually have to apply for an exploitation permit. That's the direct translation of how the work goes. He also shared with us about trumped-up legal charges he and so many of his friends had faced. He told us about friends who had been killed, undoubtedly by mining company officials and their government protectors who have never been held to account. I wish you could have met him. He was soft-spoken, kind, modest, and uncompromising. And on September 14th, this past year, Juan was leaving church on his motorbike in the late afternoon when he was gunned down. He reminded us that all of us have the power to open hearts. He opened ours. And though so many hearts are breaking in grief, I know that Juan would be glad that UUSC and so many other partners are telling his story, lifting up his courage, and calling all of us to open our hearts to each other, to what is possible when we are working in solidarity. Environmental defenders like Juan are in part working to make it possible for communities to remain home in their homes, to address root causes of forced displacement. This is true in the Americas and in many places around the world, and is a primary thread of UUSC's work from the very beginning, as you will have heard from David. We couldn't have imagined in these 85 years of doing this work that we would be forced now, in this moment, to address the needs of displaced people in our own country. That people right here would meet the definition of internally displaced people. This is the crisis that Pink Haven is working to address for the last 3 years, and especially in the last 3 months. Do you know Pink Haven? Have you been reading about their work? I'd love to thank you. I'd love to tell you quickly that Pink Haven is a network of activists and organizations working to help trans and gender-expansive people who are fleeing the most dangerous states in the United States and moving to somewhat safer states. We've been supporting them, as I said, since their founding. And before the election, we reached out to partners like Pink Haven and said, what would happen? What would the impact on you be? And what support will you need if an administration is elected that targets you, which is what's happening? And they said we'd need immediate support for security, for staffing, for travel stipends. On the week that the election happened, we provided Pink Haven with an $80,000 grant and then continued to provide crisis response grants to partners who are working in migrant justice and other groups supporting LGBTQI+ people in the United States. And now we are in the process of distributing over $1 million in additional grants above our regular budget for communities that are impacted by this administration and also around the world. Because it's not just in the United States. Thanks. We've already distributed funding in Burma, where after the earthquake, the devastating earthquake that happened, the government not only closed hospitals in that area, but continued bombing its people, the government, the military. They're not the legitimate government. We've already sent support there, and our team is busy at work distributing this money. The reason we are able to do this is because our board said, we need to use reserves that we've set aside, because if we've set this money aside for a time when it would be important, what other time can we imagine than right now? Let's move this money. Yeah. Now, there's so much else that we need to be working on, and I'm going to tell you really briefly. I looked at the clock. I must have coughed for 10 minutes because I couldn't have been talking this long, but I'm almost done. Y'all are great. So there's a lot more for us to be doing, and I want to assure you that we are. We are working in coalition to resist and push back against the efforts of the administration to essentially destroy civil society organizations and block progressive action for inclusion and social justice. Grab me after the service if you want to hear what the rumors are about the next executive orders. We're bracing ourselves and preparing for this. We're joining legal action against the administration's freeze on foreign assistance and the dismantling of USAID. We've added the data we've received from our partners around the world to an amicus brief showing what the real impact is on people's lives of these freezes. You may have also heard that we're creating a broader and we hope more powerful resistance network. The UUSC Resistance Network will be advocating both federally in Washington. Yes, we're still going to show up in Washington. We're still going to advocate for our values, but also at the United Nations and around the world in UN mechanisms for progressive rights. And finally, in the coming year, we are bringing together movement leaders in gender rights and democracy to create a collaborative strategy for action and funding that will strive to respond to the religious right's anti-gender organizing that has been a major factor in electing autocrats and demagogues and tearing down democracy around the world. We will not cede values and faith-based spaces on gender justice, including reproductive justice. We will not cede these issues to the right, the religious right. Yeah. There are faithful, progressive, religious voices, and we must have them be heard. Amen. Together, let's do it. Together, we can play bridge, we can eat pie, yes. We can hold a demonstration, we can fill a hall. The resistance of generations makes us stronger. There is so much at stake. Yes. There is so much at stake. Can you imagine a better world? Will you join in whatever way your gifts call you? Will you give all that you can for the sake of a world made whole, of a world healed? Will you? Yes. Let's go.
What a morning. I'm going to invite us all to rise in body and spirit. We'll add our voices to the music of this room. We're going to steal some words from Mary Katherine Morn. We love that. And we're going to sing with our whole hearts. And I'm going to tell you that if you get something moving in your body, that might help too, just so you know.
One at a time. It starts when you care to act. It starts when you do it again when they said no. It starts when you say we and know who you mean. And every day you mean one more. Let us go in peace.
Blessed be. Amen.
Sorry.